Hey everyone, welcome. It's Carrie from Carrie's Wreath Creations. I am here today to do a new kind of flower for you. Excuse me, I have a new petal to show you. I'm going to be using a Unique in the Creek small board, so we'll talk about that. I had lots of questions on the board after I posted the wreath video, or the wreath, yeah, the rose video from the other day. A lot of questions about the board, so we'll talk about that a little bit. I'm a little bit late here. I meant to go live a little while ago, but husband came home from work right when I was going to go live. And I got a text message saying there was a power outage in my area, but clearly not, because here we are. But hopefully that doesn't change. Okay, so if you saw earlier, I posted a picture for inspiration. I decided I'm going to make, since this is my first experience with making this kind of petal, I decided I'm going to keep this one for myself. Of course, if there's anything, any inspiration that you have for a wreath and you want to send me a picture and have me custom make something for you, I'm always happy to do that. But I've been thinking that I want to have a wreath that I can leave up pretty much year round in my front hallway. And I posted a picture of my area rug. So I have an area rug with a matching runner in my front hallway, and then the area rugs in the living room. It's all kind of one big open space. But it has navy blue, it has turquoise, and it has gray. And my walls are like well, if you can see any of the wall in the background, the entire house is this sort of like gray, grayish, neutral color. And the doors are white, and so is the trim. So I'm going to do something that matches that rug that'll look good year round. I don't want anything too big because it's going to go on an interior door. I have a door in the hallway that leads to a closet, and that's where this is going to go. I might actually put it on my front door between seasons too. So hello everyone, welcome. You are just in time. So let's talk about what I'm going to use here. So I do have a bunch of petals pre-made. This is what they are going to look like, and I will show you how to fold them. But this is kind of a cone petal, I believe. I get a lot of inspiration from Lori at Unique in the Creek, and so I saw her make this. She actually used deco mesh and she used felt, two different ways that she showed how to fold this petal. I'm going to be using poly burlap, so I have navy, I have the turquoise, and I have gray. So that's all going to go with the rug that I'm using for inspiration. We're also going to be using a Unique in the Creek small board. So this is also Lori, Unique in the Creek. She created these boards. So this is a small flower board. And if you look at the back, let me see if you can kind of see there, it says Unique in the Creek on it. And on the front, I know there's a bit of a glare, the rows are numbered. Okay, so we have row 1, row 2, 3, and 4. I started preloading the board. It does not come with the zip ties on. I started doing that ahead of time just to save some time. I do have one last row that I need to load with zip ties, but we're not going to use the outside because, quite honestly, it would make the wreath too big for the door I'm going to put it on. There's also two holes, extra ones kind of up here at the top, which are your hanging holes where you can put a piece of twine, a zip tie, a pipe cleaner, a piece of string, whatever you want to use to hang the wreath from. Since this is not the way the board is structured, it's not going to be something that you can put on a wreath hook. Okay, so I have my zip ties, and I have two centers made, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet. So I have this navy blue and white corded rope that I might use, and it's on half of a styrofoam ball. I gave myself a pretty bad burn on this finger earlier today making this, so this would be why I make these off camera, because it hurt a lot and I might have swore a little bit. But I have this one, and I also have this bling white with silver sparkles on it. So I might use that because I might want a little bit of bling in my life. I'm not sure. And honestly, I was thinking of doing white petals as well, but I just didn't have enough rows and I didn't want it to be too crowded. So I left off the white poly burlap. So maybe we do this to kind of replace the row of white. So anyways, they're both pre-made. I'll talk about the centers a little bit more later when we get to them, but basically they both come, I just take a styrofoam ball, it comes like this, and I saw it in half, And then here's the corded rope that I used. It's from Hobby Lobby. I have this much left. It's pretty much enough for another center. And then the glitter rope is, whoops, comes like, it just comes in like this. And I bought this quite a while ago from Deco Exchange. I don't believe they have it available anymore. I'm not sure if it's like a seasonal thing or what, but I know they have bling rope available at Unique in the Creek. If you check out the pinned post on my page, I do have an affiliate link to Unique in the Creek. There's also a discount code to save 5% on your order. This is, I can't even remember how much this is. It's quite a long piece because I've already used it once and now twice, and I still have this much left. I believe the stuff from Unique in the Creek is a little bit, I know it's shorter than this. I don't remember how much this is. Okay, so I gotta finish loading my board. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now real quick while we're waiting for others to join us. But thank you so much for joining me today. And I haven't been live in, it's been a little bit. I really wanted to post that tutorial to make the rose on during the Super Bowl, because I'm like, somebody's gonna be bored. I mean, I was bored during the game. Somebody's gonna be bored and want to scroll through Facebook and find something to watch. And I really wanted to, but the problem was I had the video was on my phone. My phone and Facebook didn't want to work together that day. The file was way too big. I had to end up the next day going on my computer and getting the video off my phone and then uploading it that way. So I'll talk about what I'm doing here. I'll just get it done and I'll tell you what I'm doing. But basically, I'm just going down through one hole and up through the next one. And I'm just latching my zip ties until they're just like click once or twice. They don't need to be super tight. Hello, everyone who is saying hi. Thank you for joining me. So this wreath is going to have a total of 48 petals. I have a lot of them done already so that we aren't sitting here while I make 48 petals. I'm going to make probably, I think I saved myself like half a dozen or so to make with you, and the rest we'll just add right to the board. Okay, so again, this is a Unique in the Creek small wreath board. You can find a link to Unique in the Creek in the pinned post on my Facebook page. There's all kinds of good information in there. It tells you how to connect with me on other social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. I'm adding a lot more to YouTube lately. So not every live ends up on YouTube because I kind of like YouTube to be more instructional and less chatter, but I do still put some of them on there. Okay, so our board is loaded. So let's talk about what we did here. And I did all of this in this way because I made petals and I measured like how much space they take up on the board. And this is what I determined we need to use in order to make the wreath full. So again, we have our numbered rows. Where's the top? Here's the top. Okay, this is row 1. We're not using row 1. Okay, the petals are going to come out and cover this. Okay, on row 2, so row 2 has 2 holes that are together, and then there's 1 hole that's on its own, and then 2 more holes that are together. So what I did was we're going to actually use every single hole. So the 2 that are together, I have a zip tie in that, and then I have a zip tie between this hole that's part of the pair and the one in the middle that's on its own. And then I also have a zip tie going from that middle one to the next one. So there's, 16 pairs of holes, but because I'm going to be doing petals in between each pair of holes as well, we're going to end up with 24 petals. Okay, so 24 petals. Now I did the same kind of thing on row 3, where it just has pairs of holes. There's 8, but I am going to put a petal between each pair of holes. So this is called sharing holes because I have more than 1 zip tie coming out of each hole. And that's on every row actually has that. Okay. So now you'll notice when we get started here, there's quite a bit of space between, so the paired holes, obviously they go together. But when we put zip ties between the holes that aren't a pair, you have a little bit more space. So we want to make sure that we make this zip tie nice and tight. Since this wreath is just going to be for me, I'm not going to secure with like glue or anything like that, but that might be something you'd want to do if you find that your petal seems too loose because of the distance between the ends of this zip tie, if that makes sense. Okay, so row two is here. Row 3, we have each set of holes and each set of shared holes. And then row 4 in the middle here has 4 pairs of holes, and then I have 1 zip tie going between each pair of holes. So that's a total of 8. Okay, so it'll be 24, 16, and 8. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. Put that aside for now. So I'm going to show you how to make this petal. Again, it ends up looking like this. I have a bunch pre-made. It's kind of it's got like a little sort of cylindrical look right here, and a point at the top. I mean, I think it's a really pretty petal. I haven't done a wreath with this kind of petal yet, so we're going to see what it looks when it's all done. Excuse me one second. Jax, Jax, Jax. Stop. Sorry, my dog is, I don't know what he's doing. I just couldn't, he's licking. I can't handle the noise. I can't handle the noise. Yes, thank you, Victoria. Yeah, it's unique in the creek. This is not from Dollar Tree. I've heard there's some Dollar Tree knockoff versions of this. This is a much better quality product. It's made out of recycled plastic. It's got holes in all the right places to make a wreath. So I would definitely recommend this. And again, there is an affiliate link in my pinned post, which you find on the main page of my business page. Okay, very first post, it's pinned. Okay, so I have all my poly burlap pre-cut. It's been cut with the wood burning tool, and it's cut at 10 by 10 inches. So we have 10 by 10 inch squares. So I have, if you're new to poly burlap and wreath making, I always go through this because it is important to make sure your petals are consistent. So you have your factory edges, and then you have your cut edges. Okay, I've cut it with a wood burning tool. I do that outside in the garage. I make sure I'm in a well ventilated area so the door is open. I have a mask. You should wear a mask when you do this because you are essentially melting plastic, and it helps cut down on the fray. Okay, since we do have some raw edges showing on this petal, mainly kind of in the back and on the side here, you do want to cut with a wood burning tool, otherwise you might end up with a lot of fray. Okay, so we have curl side up, okay, and you're going to turn it into a diamond shape. Thanks, Victoria. Yeah, Jax came with that name, and we couldn't think of a better one, so that's what his name is. And then I have a Stella too, but Stella is snoozing away. Okay, so I fold it into a triangle. Now, this part is optional, but I usually do it because I made all these and I found that this was the best way. You want to fold this in half. It's not going to stay in half though. Okay, the only reason I'm folding it in half is because I want to be able to see this crease that I'm making. Okay, so I open it back up, and I can you might not be able to see on camera, but I can still see the outline. Okay, you could also sort of like just run your finger down and figure out, because what you want is where's the middle. That's what you care about. Okay, so you could do it without folding, but I just found the folding to be actually pretty helpful. I am going to clip the top of this because I want the top of my petal to be nice and even. Okay, so as I'm folding, that's what's going to help keep that nice shape. Okay, so I have my triangle. What I'm going to do is take one end and fold it in towards the middle. Okay, I'm going slightly past center. And then I'm going to take the other end and do the same thing. And I'm again going slightly past center so there's a little bit of overlap. Okay, and then I just found it easier to turn it on its side at this point. You don't really have to. I'm going to take this part and fold it in towards the center. Okay. And then I do the same thing on this side. So I end up with this. Okay. And then I gather. Now you have a lot to gather here because you've already folded like a couple of times. So you get a pretty big nub. Is that the best word for it? Okay. It is a lot to grab right here. Okay. But that's going to go right into the board. Okay. So I'm just going to start wherever. I'm going to go ahead and start. I got so many zip ties here, but that's okay. It's going to go a lot faster once we fold a couple and then get started just loading the petals in. So I'm going in about, you know, about an inch. I probably could have done a little more than that, but that's good. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay. And I'll probably end up clipping them all off at the end, but I'll go ahead and clip that off and take my clip off. And there we have it. Okay. So we'll do another one. I think I need to make 4 blue ones and then we're good to go. So again, 10 by 10 poly burlap, cut with a wood burning tool. Okay. I just always keep track of where your cut edges are and where your, these are my cut edges, and where your factory edges are. Because if you start doing it like, I'm going to start this way this time, you're going to have your edges of your petals are going to they're going to be inconsistent. Like every single petal I made, I know I have a factory edge right here. And then I have a factory edge right here. Like it's just consistency and it makes it look cleaner when it's done. Yes, this is a small board. So curl side up, turn it into a diamond, fold it into a triangle. Need my clip. Okay. And that again, optional step. If you want to just kind of imagine where the middle is, you can do that. I kind of prefer to see that crease in there. So I'm going to fold. Okay. And just open it back up. And then take one end, fold it in towards the center, just going slightly past center. Let me get my clip on there. The clip really helps, I think, because you got to do a couple of folds and then the gathering. I think the clip really helps keep the top together. Okay, and then this side comes in slightly past center. Okay, so you kind of have, it looks like an open envelope, kind of. Because if you folded this down, it would look like an envelope. Okay, and then I just turned it on its side. I don't know why, that seems easier for me. But then we take this and just fold it in like that. Gives us sort of this rolled kind of look, or cone. It's called a cone petal. So, and then you do the same thing on the other side here, just like this. Okay, and then gather the bottom. Okay, just like that. All right, so this is going to go next to the previous one. Now here, so the first one I loaded was into one of the pair of holes, and this one is going into one of the shared holes. So you can, if you can see close up, so here's the first one and here's the second one. You can just see there's more, since these holes are farther apart, I can't quite get that zip tie like as tight, or it's just holding the petal in a little bit different way. I pulled that pretty tight. It's not going anywhere, but if you were feeling insecure about it, you could maybe add a dab of glue or something underneath, but I'm not going to do that. This is for me and I'm not really concerned. I also finally opened up my Christmas present from the hubby, which is a pair of pliers, so I can really give those zip ties a good yank if I need to. Okay. So I think I need to do, I'm pretty sure I did 20, but I'll do one more and then I'll do another one later if I don't have enough. So again, 10 by 10 poly burlap. It's called a cone petal. Curl side up. Here are my factory edges. Here are my cut edges, cut with a wood burning tool. Turn it into a diamond shape. Fold it into a triangle. Many of our petals start the same way. Okay. Optional step at this point is to fold it in half just so you can get a crease down the middle. Okay. And I am not clipping first only because it's hard to fold it in half with a clip on it. Now I clip it. Okay. I can see the outline of my crease. You might not be able to see it on camera, but I can see it. Okay. Take one end, fold it in towards the middle, just like that. A little bit past center. Same going the other way. a little bit past center, so you have a little bit of overlap right there. Okay. And then I'm just turning it outside here. I'm going to bring this end, just fold it in once down towards the center, and evenly on the other side. Okay, so you have this look. Okay, and then gather, and there's your petal. Put it into the zip tie. Now I will say this petal is a little bit finicky in terms of getting it really consistently the same. What I found was some of them were coming out skinnier and fatter. Some were skinny, some were fat. I don't know, you might be able to tell when I start putting them in the board, which I'm going to do now. And I think it's just all about, I think, like maybe I didn't go, when I overlapped them, maybe I didn't quite do the same amount of overlap on every single petal, and maybe it just, some of them just came out a little bit different than others. I don't really, I'd probably need more experience with the petal to figure it out. Like, I don't know, this one I think looks a little fatter than some of these other ones. It's like the cone part, this rolled part is just like a little tighter on some than others. And it's also, I think, just from my personal opinion, it's a little hard, like with these, it was a little bit hard to like hold this and put the elastic on. It is navy blue. So when I was doing that, sometimes it kind of flattened it out a little, which made it look fatter. And then sometimes it stayed really, rolled really tight. I don't know that I would consider this to be like a beginner petal. I think it's a little bit, like I said, I don't think it's hard to put together. I think it's hard to make consistently and have them all look the same. But I think once they're in the board, that's not gonna, you're not gonna notice too much. So just getting these all in here. If you're joining late, yeah, that's true. In nature, not every flowers aren't perfect. Petals aren't all exactly the same and all that. So that's true. Totally true. Where is this? Where did that come from? Oh, okay. I had a random zip tie tail and I didn't know where it went. So yeah, if you watched the rose, me making the rose, so I never had made a rose before, and I saw a lot of people, had made them, especially for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, I've done lots of other different kind of flowers and I've never tried the rose. Like, let me give this a try. I made a rose for the center, like bud of a wreath before with poly burlap, but that was only using maybe I think I used 8 pieces of poly burlap to make that bud in the center of one of my wreaths. This was a while ago. I want to say it was like almost a year ago I made that. But I never made the wreath on the board with deco mesh. So I thought I should just give this a try. Let's record it because it might be interesting content. And it's funny because, if you, I consider it the equivalent of let's say you look at a recipe and you look at it once and you try to memorize as much of it as you can, and then you go and just make the food without ever looking back at the recipe. That's kind of what that was, because I watched the tutorial. I will admit I'm probably like a lot of you when I watch tutorials where you skip around, or maybe you're watching the replay and you've already fast forwarded me doing this, because a lot of people don't sit through the repetitive parts of things, which I totally understand. But you're watching a tutorial, you're like, okay, I got this part. And then you skip ahead and you're like, okay, wait a second, I might've missed something. Let me go back. Well, yeah, I didn't watch the full tutorial. So by the time I got to the end of making the wreath, I was like, wait a second, I feel like I need an extra row of petals. Something doesn't look right. And so I went ahead and added them. And then sure enough, I went back and watched the video, the tutorial again, right after I ended the video. And yeah, I just, skipped ahead too far and didn't quite pay attention to the full recipe. So when I went to do the project myself, I was missing a few of the key ingredients, but managed to improvise, and you know, the final product ended up fine. So yeah, so I don't know if I'll add those to my like repertoire of flowers. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Maybe if anyone on here makes them. I know I had someone comment, she made a really beautiful multicolored one. I don't know if those are good sellers like year round or just for Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. I mean, I don't know. I saw a really cool one when I was looking at tutorials. I saw one that was with, it was like a American flag. So it had like a red and white swirl kind of thing going on for most of the main part of the rose. And then in the one corner, the upper left corner, obviously, it had the, it had blue petals, and then it had stars glued on it. So that was really pretty. I already kind of have a staple American flag in my shop that I sell over and over, but maybe I would give that a try. Okay. All right. So let's see. Got two more. Okay, so we got just enough that I pre-made. So if you're just joining, I actually have all the turquoise already made as well, but I do have to make a couple more of the gray because the turquoise, I only had a certain number of pieces cut, and I wanted to make sure I had enough, so I counted them out and just folded the petals as I was counting. So that's already done. Okay, so they're all in. Clip all these ends off here. So we did a total of 24 petals, and we're working on row 2 on the small Unique in the Creek board. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. If you are comfortable, I'd love to hear where everyone is watching from. If you want to share in the comments where you're watching from. I am here in Concord, North Carolina, which is outside of Charlotte. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and I've lived quite a few different places. My husband's in the military, so we move quite a bit, and so I moved on my own from Buffalo to Virginia, Stafford, Virginia. And then when I met him, we got married. We both moved together to San Diego, California. And then we lived in Sneads Ferry, North Carolina, which is on the coast between Wilmington and Jacksonville for 5 years. And then we've been here in Concord for a year and a half. Almost July will be 2 years. So we move like every 3 years. This is the cone petal. Yep, cone petal. I did not name it that. It came with that name. I mean, I watched Lori from Unique in the Creek make this petal with deco mesh. She also made it with felt. Okay, here we are done with row, well, it's our first row, but it's row 2 on the board. We got people from all over. Awesome. Okay. All right, so as I mentioned, so now we're on row 3 on the board. We have a total of 16 petals because we're doing the 8 pairs of holes plus the shared holes. Okay. All right, it's awesome. We got some first-time people. That's great. Seeing places all over the country. That's awesome. Okay, so I think I have all 16 made. At least I hope I do, because I don't have any more of this color. So this is turquoise. I just decided to do kind of the pattern I decided to do is the darkest color is on the outside, and then this is kind of like a medium color. Whoa, I put that in backwards. And then, well, that would be a totally different flower. Hold on, I need my smaller clippers to get this out of here. Oopsie. And then the gray, it's kind of a light gray, so I'm going to put that on the inside, so it's kind of going dark, medium, light. Hello, everyone. What is the weather like in your part of the country? So we had a little taste of spring last Friday and Saturday. got up to the 70s, like 70-ish. It was so nice. And then Sunday it was like 45 was the high, which was, you know, not fun after the 70-degree days. And it's been kind of stuck now for the past few days. It got up to, I think it was around maybe 50, mid 50s today, but we're on the upward trend where I think within the next few days, we're supposed to be back up near 70. So I am definitely looking forward to spring. Nice. Very windy in Kansas. Oh. It was windy here yesterday, and I hate windy days because I have our house is on the corner. We have a fence, and it seems like whatever loose garbage in the neighborhood on a windy day always just blows right against the fence, and then I have to go pick up garbage from my yard. It's not my favorite. So these are all made. If you're just joining, I am going to show how to fold this one more time. As soon as I get these turquoise ones in here, I have to fold a couple of more gray. So you'll see how to do that if you're joining late. The big bag of zip ties I got from Amazon. There's, I think, 1,000, and they are 6-inch zip ties. I want to say they're like $12 or something like that. Cold in Northeast PA. Oh, I don't like seeing those temperatures in the 30s. I don't know. I mean, I grew up in Buffalo, but lost all of that blood when I moved. I moved down south to Virginia, so obviously that was pretty mild. And then living in San Diego for a couple years, that was like time never passed because it was 70 every single day. Awesome. Back to the 80s. Yeah. So yeah, so then there was a couple years of just living in 70 degrees basically, and then moving to Eastern North Carolina, pretty mild there. We seem to get kind of a buffer being so close to the ocean where it didn't really get too super cold for too long. It's pretty mild most winters. We only saw snow once the whole 5 years we lived there. And just moving, you know, inland within the state, being near Charlotte now, the weather is a lot different than it was on the coast. We've had snow 3 times so far this winter, which, yeah, if you're from the north, you're like, whatever. And when I say snow, I mean it snowed 2 inches once, and then it snowed maybe an inch, and then it snowed what you would call a dusting. But let me tell you, the 2 inches, people lost their minds. Everyone went to the grocery store and bought all the milk and bread for, I don't know, milk sandwiches. I don't know what you do with all that milk and bread. But they said we're going to lose power and all sorts of stuff. And it happened to be a weekend that we were actually out of town. So we missed all the fun. But it did take quite a while to melt, actually, because it did stay pretty cold after that. Okay, so my 16 turquoise petals are in. So we're on row 3 on the Unique in the Creek small board. Oh, Verona, North Carolina. Why does that sound familiar? Is that out near Jacksonville, Sneads Ferry area? Lived in Buffalo for 41 years. Yeah, my family is all still there. And my husband's family's in Virginia. So, okay. Here's what we have so far after 2 rows. Okay. Kind of liking this. I like the rolled kind of petal look. I don't know. It's different. Kind of like it. Okay. So now we just have, on row 4, we have our 4 sets of paired holes, I guess you'll call them, and then and then shared holes. So there's going to be 8 petals on the inside here. Let me count how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I have 6, so I need to make 2 more. So if you're joining late, you can see how I make the petal again. Just gonna make 2. Now, while we're making this last row, okay, we gotta decide. Is it gonna be the center? Whoops, I guess it would help if I had it all in camera. Or, so this is gray and kind of off-white, or the blingy white center. I kind of want the blingy white center, but you guys tell me what you think. Again, this is for me, so even if you tell me the navy and white, I'll probably change it anyways. The board does not have zip ties loaded. It comes just a flat board with the holes in it. You add the zip ties to it in whatever pattern you need in order to make your wreath. So I did have to use like shared holes where there's the pair of holes and then there's kind of stretching the zip tie between holes that are not a pair. So yeah, blingy white center or the navy and white. I'm really leaning towards the blingy one, but tell me what you think. Okay, so here is our piece of poly burlap. It's 10 by 10. It's been cut with a wood burning tool. And so I do buy poly burlap from Unique in the Creek, Mel's Crafty Mojo. I do have affiliate links pinned in my pinned post on my main Facebook page where you can find those. I do shop other places as well, mostly online. Craft Outlet, the Wreath Shop, Trendy Tree, Deco Exchange. That's where I'm finding the poly burlap in all these different colors. There's actually some really nice colors for spring. A lot of like solid colors, but they have a little bit of white or cream mixed in. So, okay. So anyways, 10 by 10, here are my factory edges. Here are my cut edges. Okay, I always pay attention to where that's at so that my petals all come out the same way. So I have it like this with curl side up, turn it into a diamond. I saw a bunch of people say white, probably because I led you to say white because that's what I want, but honestly, the navy and white will not go to waste because I use those for the center of my patriotic American flag flower wreaths that I make. So I'm folding this in half only so I can see a crease down the center. You can eyeball where the center is, but I like the crease. I'm also going to pin or clip the top because I want the point to be nice and even when I'm done. Okay. So again, I'm taking take one corner, fold it towards the middle, going slightly past center using that line that I can see from folding as my guide. Okay. And then same thing over here. A little bit of overlap between the two. Okay, so I kind of have what looks like an open envelope. Okay, I just turn it on its side because I don't know. You do things the same way every time and then there's no rhyme or reason why I turn it on its side, but that's just how I've done what are we at? 40 so far. So now I'm going to take this part, fold it towards the center. Okay, that's giving me that little kind of cone rolled sort of look. And then do the same thing on the other side. So just take this and fold it in towards the center till they meet, but they're not overlapping. They're not overlapping. I think that would be too bulky if you made it overlap. Okay, because then you're going to scrunch this. And you already have quite a bit to scrunch since you have a lot folded. Okay, so there's my petal. Okay, and put it right into the zip tie. See what I mean? When I grab this, when I was talking about the consistency of the petals, see, this is where I think they start to get a little bit inconsistent as far as the shape and size. So I'm just going to re-grab that until I have it good and tight there. Need some good finger grip strength for this, I feel like. That's why I pre-made so many of them. And I put those little rubber band things on pretty tight so that way they would stay the way I wanted them. Okay. All right, so I have one more to do, one more to fold, and then just put the rest in. So again, 10 by 10 poly burlap, curl side up, and we have our factory edges, our cut edges, cut with the wood burning tool. I do have a short video on my page. It's just a video, it's not a live, where I show how I cut with a wood burning tool. I do that out of my garage. It is not glamorous. It's not always very warm, or it's too warm depending what the season is. But I don't do that while I have this all pre-cut when I make the wreath on a live. So I have my factory cut edges, turn it into a diamond, fold into a triangle so your top meets there. Okay, and we'll flatten it a little bit. Optional step here, I'm folding it one time over and then opening it back up just so I can see the crease down the center. You could also certainly eyeball where the center is if you so choose. I'm going to clip the top just to help keep everything in place as I fold. And then bring this side in, a little bit past center. Okay. And this corner in, a little bit past center. So you have kind of your open envelope. And then fold in one more time. So fold this down towards the center and fold this up to meet it. Just like this. Scrunch and into the zip tie. Okay. Center is a little crowded here because I got all these zip ties pretty close together, but that's okay. Okay, tighten that. All right. Okay. All right, so let's get the rest of these in here. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do this, the white. I wanted to do one more, I really wanted to do a row of white petals too, because well, like I said at the beginning of the video, and if you saw my post earlier, I was using my hallway rug as inspiration. There's a runner rug in the hallway, and then I have an area rug that matches in the living room, and this is going to go in my hallway on a closet door. I just always have something hanging there, and I kind of want something that is like goes with the house. So, and this is a nice, I think, a really pretty color combination. So where was I going with this? I already forgot. But yeah, oh, so the rug obviously has like a white, like cream is kind of the main color. But I have a large Unique in the Creek board as well. Yes, I didn't heat seal, I wood burned. There is a difference because the heat sealing tool is different than the wood burning tool. I did use the wood burning tool. But anyways, so I wanted to get some white in here just to have it, you know, all the colors in the rug represented. But I had a large Unique in the Creek board too, and I was like testing out, like if I did 4 rows, you know, I would have to utilize row 1 on this board and actually the same thing on the other, and it was just going to be too big of a wreath. It's going on an interior door, which is smaller than an exterior door. Obviously an exterior door, I think a standard front door is usually 36 inches, and a, you know, bedroom door, closet door, whatever, is smaller than that. So it was just going to be too overwhelming to do another row of petals. So I decided against it. But I thought we could maybe get the white in there in the center. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. So I'm just doing a tiny little bit of stretching these a little bit here, just so I don't see space between the petals. I don't want to see any of the board. Okay. So there was 8 petals on the inside here, row 4. Melissa, never mind. I was going to ask if your real last name is Chocolate or if that's a Facebook name, but you don't have to tell me if you don't want. I think that would be kind of cool though, if your last name was really Chocolate. Okay. I don't want to get personal. You don't have to answer. So here's our wreath. Okay. So, in case we care to look at the back, just so you can see, I did use every single set of holes and every single set of shared holes as well. Okay, did not use row 1. Here's the top of the board, and here they're a tiny bit larger than the other holes, but those are my hanging holes where I'm going to use like a piece of, usually I use fish line, okay, because it's got to have some way to hang. Okay, now, so my options were this and this, but honestly, I don't know, I'm not loving this. It's okay, but I kind of like this better because it's got the sparkle. And honestly, I have something else coming in the hold on one second. Okay, sorry, got a little distracted. So I actually have something else coming in the mail I ordered, and it's like a true silver with sparkles. I think that might actually look really, really good on this, but I think the white with the sparkle is the way we're gonna go here, because that way I get my white in there that's gonna go with the rug and the wall and the doors and the trim. Okay, so I can see my holes. I'm just gonna go ahead and put these through an opposite set of holes. And again, I take my styrofoam ball, comes as a full ball, and then I just sawed it in half. Like, you end up with this, and then just a lot of hot glue and pinning. Yeah, so I always do that off camera, which maybe someday what I should do is record myself making one, so that way if it doesn't pan out, it's okay and I don't have to post it. I usually just don't make a center on a live. It honestly takes kind of a long time. I mean, I think it took probably a good 20 minutes to make both of these, which I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not that long, but to have you sit here an extra 10, 20 minutes while I do that. So I'm just going to turn this over. So as you can see, I just came through 2 holes, and then I'm just going to twist this. And I'm going to just, like, you can either snip these off, you can kind of tuck them back in, tuck them under the zip ties. I saw a girl yesterday put a piece of tape over this just to keep it flat, whatever. But yeah, so I take my styrofoam ball, and I kind of, with this rope, thank you, Hobby Lobby. But I kind of like carve out a hole. I put this in the hole with a lot of hot glue and a dress pin. It's like a T-pin. And then I start just gluing and winding and gluing and winding. And then I finish I didn't show you the back, but I just finished with another, this is just a regular floral pin, a whole lot of glue, pipe cleaner with a floral pin and a whole lot of glue. But yeah, I think maybe I'll do a separate video making a center. So if you want to, like I said, it takes a little bit of time, and I usually burn myself at least once. Okay, so here's today's project. All done. It's gonna go on my door in my hallway. I might actually put it out of my front door between seasons. I still have St. Patrick's Day. I still have Valentine's Day up. I guess we're only one day late, but I have Valentine's Day still on there. So maybe I'll put this one up for the next couple weeks until I switch out to, well, I guess Mardi Gras would be next. I do have 2 Mardi Gras wreaths in my shop that are in my house. I could always display one of those. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But maybe I'll just put this one up until we get closer to St. Patrick's Day. Okay, so there's my wreath. Thank you for joining me today. Please be sure to check out the pinned post if you're interested in purchasing Unique in the Creek boards, any mesh. I have some affiliate links there. I do get a little bit of a kickback perks from you using the affiliate link, but there are some discount codes in that pin post as well. The dark petal is navy blue. Navy blue, turquoise, gray. Those are the that's what you would find on the poly burlap labels if you were to go buy that yourself. So yeah, check that out. Please go ahead, follow me on YouTube if you like tutorials without, you know, comments and chatter. I do post just just tutorials without them coming off Facebook Live if you like to watch that way. And then also check out my Etsy shop. I have ready-made wreaths. I also have wreath kits available. I have the kits for St. Patrick's Day available, which come with all the mesh pre-cut, ready to go. Couple options with your color of the shamrock that goes in the middle, but you check out my Etsy shop and you'll see that. The link is not in this live. You will need to go to my main Facebook page and check out the pinned post. It's the very first post. As you scroll down the news feed, there's one that's pinned and it says, I think it says important announcement. And if you just expand that, you'll see the links in there. Okay. Thank you again, everybody, for joining me. Have a good rest of your night and take care. See you next time. Bye.